Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another good and bad video for today. This one is going to be, guys, unfortunately, the final good and bad video. This is going to be the end of the series. However, we're doing a double character good and bad video for today. This one's going to be both for two Fear the Walking Dead characters. First, Madison Clark, and then Althea. Alright guys, this is going to be doing the final good and bad video for today. This one's going to be doing a double good and bad video for today. I figured we would do one last good and bad video, however, it would be for two characters, which would probably make this a very, very long good and bad video. But I want to talk about the last two characters I got a suggestion from, both from Epic Zombie Killer to go ahead and do the good and bad of Madison Clark, the guidance counselor from Fear the Walking Dead, and of course the journalist Althea from Fear the Walking Dead. So, very, very cool stuff. Definitely want to go ahead and do this one to kind of wrap up and talk about the last two characters I had suggested for my good and bad series. I want to say a huge thank you for everybody to, for suggesting all of the good and bad videos. You guys have been absolutely amazing with suggesting the good and bad videos, and honestly, I cannot wait to announce the next, character series I have presented for you guys for 2021. So, very, very excited for that. 2021, we're going to be going into a brand new series on Saturdays. That'll be announced. What I will be doing, guys, is next week, instead of doing like an actual character video, next Saturday will be the announcement video of what the new series is going to be. And then 2 weeks from now, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that, we're going to start this new character series I have ready for 2021. So, changing things up a bit. I hope you guys are excited for the new series. However, to enjoy the final good and bad video, let's get into the good and bad video for Madison and Althea, starting with Madison. So, Madison is introduced in Season 1, Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, and unfortunately killed off, I'm gonna say, in Season 4, Episode 8, No One's Gone. So, yeah, and I say killed off because it seems like there's still like just all these kind of theories and all this debate of whether or not she's still out there somewhere, and I'm just like, man, it'd be a little late for that, honestly. Maybe that's a video we should do coming up soon, is would it be too late to have Madison return at this point? So I think we may do a video on that coming up soon as well, too. But she is introduced in Season 1, Episode 1, and she is, of course, the guidance counselor. Now, of course, we have Tobias, who is right the whole time, and she gives him his knife back, of course, when everything kind of falls apart. But she thinks that Nick is kind of going crazy and that she doesn't really believe that Nick saw what he actually did see until her and Travis go to the church, and she's like, okay, yeah, there is something that went down here. Nick actually probably did see something, and of course when he kills his drug dealer, Madison kind of doesn't believe it again because he just disappears, his body goes away, but it's because he turns, and of course Nick runs him over with the Travis's truck, and almost bites Madison. So yeah, it's, oh man, such an intense scene. I remember that one very specifically. I actually really like that scene from the first episode when you have I forget his name, but it's Nick's like drug dealer, and he turns, and of course he just runs him over with the truck and stuff like that. So, yeah, and then Madison says the cool line of like, what the hell is happening? That type of thing. And then, of course, it spills into the rest of the season. So, we got to get away from City. We got to get away from people. We got Alicia with her boyfriend. Obviously, he's been bit at this point, too. He's a goner. And, of course, Madison doesn't really want Alicia to get close to him because, obviously, she knows that it's obviously dangerous based off of what her and Travis just saw with Nick. So, good decision there to try to protect her kids and all that kind of stuff. So, basically, after that, in the rest of the season, basically, we got the military that takes over. Of course, they kind of have to kind of live, among them. And basically, Madison kind of notices that, yeah, the military aren't exactly the best of people to kind of be, staying with, that type of thing. And of course, when they take Nick, that's like the last straw for her. And of course, Daniel tortures that Ophelia's boyfriend, and Madison kind of just lets him, it seems like, just to kind of get the information. That's necessary, and yeah, really crazy stuff for sure. So basically, at the end of Season 1, they do get Nick back, that type of thing. It's a close call in the hallways when, they're trying to swipe the card. You guys remember that, when they're trying to swipe the card and it's not working, and Nick and Strand are like on the other side, and Nick's looking at Madison and stuff. I thought that was a really intense scene, actually. And then they get it open at the last second. Liza finally opens it, and then they get through, and then Nick and Madison are reunited and all that kind of stuff. So, very, very much enjoyed that stuff. Season season 1 I thought was great, and a crazy ending with the death of Liza. So she wanted Madison to do it, but then Travis ends up doing it instead. So in season 2, basically we have the Abigail. Strand basically takes them to Mexico. He doesn't tell them right away, but Daniel kind of gets him to let everybody else know. And Madison kind of confronts him about it. And is like, "Are we going to Mexico?" And then basically kind of becomes all about getting to Mexico, this place that they have, and we have a Connor's group along the way. So that's one thing as well to mention as well too, is that we do have a Connor's group that is kind of a minor group of villains here with Jack and stuff like that. Obviously, Alicia and Travis are captured, so Madison really has to go out of her way to kind of make sure that she has to do anything she has to do to actually get Alicia and Travis back. So she gets Travis back at first, and then Travis starts fighting that guy, which I love. And then basically Alicia decides to leave Jake because he's or Jack because he's friggin' crazy. But Madison and Travis, of course, get Alicia, and then they get back on the boat. So basically Madison is introduced to Celia and of course the characters at the compound. And she doesn't trust her, and rightfully so, because a bunch of them are just locked up in this cage. So basically Daniel goes crazy, of course burns the darn place down. And basically Madison kills Celia in the process, and that's one of the biggest mistakes, or not mistakes, but just craziest things ever. And was Madison right to kill Celia? I would say it was a bit of a rough decision for her to do that, and I would say it's a bit of a kind of villain decision to do that. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to blame her 100%, but the way she did it was very brutal, absolutely. So basically, Nick leaves Madison after he finds out about Celia and what Madison did. And of course, Nick's out there on his own, and Madison and the others go to the hotel. Now, we did have some decent stuff at the hotel, some really boring characters though, absolutely. And basically, in the end, they kind of, I guess, the whole thing with the hotel is that they got to get all these walkers out of there because there's all these floors with just all these walkers and the infected, as they call it. And Madison, very good decision from her, leads the walkers out and then jumps off into the water, and then Alicia and that other guy come and get her. So I like that. I thought that was a really exciting scene, and that was one of my favorite scenes from season 2 when Madison's leading the walkers away, using the the pots and pans and stuff, and just leading it away and making noise and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I'll admit, season 2 of Fear, season 2 has some good moments. It's just not everything's amazing, but like scenes like that I really did like, and really good moment from Madison's characters. That's another good decision from her. Now, basically, Travis shows up. We have the stuff with Chris, of course, when we find that out. And of course, because of all the craziness that goes down, and even, killing one of the guys from the hotel, they are kicked out, but Strand decides to stay back. Now, Madison and the others go to the border, of course, and this is when we have, the introduction to Troy. We have all this stuff. And we gotta mention it, her stabbing Troy with the spoon. I mean, honestly, like, that is the perfect decision, if you ask me personally. That completely makes sense, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Troy was not going to be letting them leave. Madison did what she had to do, and I'm still shocked he didn't lose the eye completely, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what it is. I was still so surprised when I'm like, wait, Troy still has his eye? Like, it threw me off at first, I remember. So, yeah, because I thought she stabbed it out at first, but then it's like, oh, no, she didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. That was always one thing that threw me off. But basically, we have the death of Travis, and then after that, Madison, of course, kind of has to take a more leadership position of the ranch. And we do have Troy that kind of becomes a little bit of a problem. But then at other times, Troy almost kind of like works with Madison a little bit, because Madison kind of likes to go the dark route sometimes, and Troy kind of supports that. But then there's other times where Troy's kind of like goes a little too far, and then Madison doesn't agree, and there's a big back and forth when it comes to Madison and Troy. But of course, when it comes to Walker, when he's introduced, they decide to kind of do what Walker wants them to do, bring the head, and he kind of supports Madison and kind of respects Madison for doing that. And of course, they let them move right in. So I mean, man, like, I don't know. And the fact that Nick was the one that killed, Otto, I couldn't. That was just Jeremiah. I just couldn't with that. So basically, of course, after that, her and Taka, they both go get some water. This is when they run into Strand. And Madison leaving Nick in that like hot box or whatever after the whole shootout with her and Troy. I don't know. I didn't really like that too much. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go off and get like some stuff. You just stay in there, And also kicking Troy out. I agree with this, honestly. I have to say, I do actually agree with kicking Troy out. However, I think I would agree more so with either let him stay or maybe kill him, because what he did later on, leading the walkers to the ranch, I'm sorry, I think it is actually Madison's fault why that happened. I do, because she should have known that Troy was going to do something, honestly. So I take back what I said. I think that's actually a really bad decision from Madison, just to be honest, honestly. So basically, we have everything in place through the fall of the ranch. Of course, Jake does die in the process, all that kind of stuff. She gets Alicia back, and then Alicia leaves Madison right away. So it's like, oh my goodness, man. But anyway, so basically they go to the Proctor's place, then they go to the dam. We have Lola and Daniel and all that kind of stuff. We have the death of Ophelia, unfortunately, that happens because, of course, she was bit at the ranch. And basically, we get to see the Proctors attack the dam. Now, Madison killing Troy. We have to mention this because this is something that I know I know it really kind of just gets everybody all riled up, because it's just such a crazy moment and it just came out of nowhere. But Madison killing Troy, she should have done it beforehand. She should have done it beforehand, and that is my kind of opinion on that. I think, personally, Madison should have killed Troy instead of kicking him out earlier in the season like we just mentioned. Killing Troy at the end of Season 3, I'm sorry, you might as well just keep him alive at this point. You might as well, because honestly, he's already done so much damage, and he's kind of on his own now. He's kind of just one of you guys now. Like, he's kind of just like one of the gang now. So I mean, at this point, like, you might as well just keep Troy alive, because if you don't kill him back at when you were supposed to kick him out of the ranch, killing him now, I'm sorry, it's useless. It is. It just felt totally random for Madison to do that, in my personal opinion, at least. But would you guys have killed Troy if you guys were in Madison's position? That's something I'd like to hear from you guys in the comment section below. So, the Proctors attack, everybody split up, and this is when we're kind of in the dark, because Madison survives, but we don't know when it comes to the other characters. So, basically, over time, they set up the stadium, of course. We have the, the vultures that come in. We do have June, that is in addition to the community, of course, thanks to Madison kind of saving her life. So, a good decision there as well, too. And then basically they decide to kind of just just kind of sit in there and not really do anything about the vultures just being outside. Bad decision. Madison should have done something, because look what ends up happening, right? And she, in the end, of course, with the herd coming in, she decides to save her family and unfortunately go out fighting and die, saving her family, her kids. And that is basically the end of Madison, at least so what we think, because obviously, like I said, there's still a bunch of theories right now that she could be alive, and I'm just like, man, after all this time, and Madison could be alive. That's crazy to me. So, for now, I'm going to say she's dead. I'm going to say for now, Madison's dead, and I do agree. We didn't see a dead body. I absolutely agree. We did not see a dead body, so I completely, I agree with every one of those arguments that people make, but, still, it's definitely something worth, kind of mentioning, but, basically, after that, so that stuff was really good. I did enjoy a lot of the stadium stuff, but Madison's death, it was such a bad idea and but in terms of her character making the decision to sacrifice herself, I enjoyed that. I thought it was good. Now, we do know, of course, once we go back in time, that she, of course, was, she did run into Althea. So her and Althea, obviously, she interviews Madison, and she basically talks to her about, she's like, what did you lose? Your family, like your, kids, brothers, sisters, whatever. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, all of the above, basically, right? And she interviews Madison, but of course, they kind of don't really like each other too much at first, but she basically, gives her some supplies. Madison goes back with Strand, Nick, Luciana, and Alicia. And thanks to Althea, she gets, Madison's supplies. And I feel like Althea kind of gives Madison the hope to kind of build the stadium, it kind of feels like. So thank you to, of course, Althea for doing that. Now let's talk about Althea. So she is out there collecting stories. She is a journalist, of course, and she runs into Morgan and John, who, of course, run into the guys, and they're kind of held captive there. And she's like, new people. I like new people. And basically she gets John's story about June, but then Morgan doesn't really want to talk. So, of course, they kind of wait till later on. So they get attacked, of course, by these guys, of course, in this, like, kind of trailer park-ish kind of location here. And basically we got, a few trailers here. Morgan, of course, fights the one guy. You got John, who shoots the other guys. The walkers come out. She kind of tries to get in the SWAT vehicle, but she can't, and then she does. And basically they defeat the bad guys. And, of course, Morgan gets the interview, later. So he talks to her about the king and the pet tiger and stuff like that, and she likes that. I feel like Althea has always wanted to actually see the tiger, which unfortunately Althea never got a chance to. But basically because Althea was always very obsessed about the fact that there was a tiger back at Alexandria. So I lose people, I lose myself. So in terms of her kind of interviewing, I think it's important for her to kind of get a story, because one day someone's going to want to know what happened. I like that line from her. I think that makes sense. But the writing is what made that storyline go to crap. I mean, honestly, because at first I'm like, somebody's trying to document the apocalypse, and somebody's trying to kind of get a good feel of what kind of people are still around. I like that. I think originally the concept, it's kind of original for a character to be like that. But then it just gets out of control. She has the camera all the time during times where they're even in like a shootout, and she's got the camera. It's like, put it down. Like, listen, like, we don't need, you can talk about the battle after. Like, you don't need to film during a gunfight. I'm sorry, but that's one decision from Althea I have to say is a terrible decision. And that is actually probably her biggest flaw, is having the camera in people's faces all the time, even during a battle, I'm just like, man. So basically, throughout, all this stuff, of course, the stadium falls, all that stuff with the death of Madison, but basically, Althea decides to, her and June, of course, they decide to go out, and of course, they kind of, right before the storm, and then, of course, the storm occurs, and afterwards, Althea gets very sick, obviously, from the stupid water that Martha poisoned, which we find out later on. Most likely, that's what that was from, when Althea was sick, but she gets June to almost kill a guy just because there's no medicine, there's no nothing in there. She just wants to get the vehicle back. She just wants to get the van back. So it's just like, man, such a frustrating, moment for that character. So another bad decision from Althea, I would have to say. Now, of course, throughout the season, we have a few scenes with her here and there. She kind of takes a bit of a backseat role for the rest of the episodes in season 4. But there was that time where she's, kind of stuck separately from the others in the city. And you got the 2 zombies. Let me know if you guys remember this too. She's in the city. You got the 2 zombies in front of her, and you got Martha. And what does she do? She shoots the 2 zombies, and then when she goes to shoot to Martha, she's out of bullets, and Martha knocks her out. You should have killed Martha before you killed those 2 zombies. I'm sorry, but I would take out the human threat before I would take out the walker threat. And that's one thing I absolutely could not stand in that episode. But, I don't know. I guess now Althea is not weak, right? As Martha says. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that. So, basically, after that, in season 5, so she gets captured, of course, by, the Isabel character, of course, and they kind of form a bit of a relationship. And I'm going to skip over this a little bit because the CRM stuff just did not make an impact. Obviously, they cared for each other. Obviously, that's one thing. And throughout a lot of season 5, she was looking for, Isabel in Virginia's community. She went with Morgan. They looked, and she's like, helicopter, honey, we never have, we only have, horses and whatever. It's like helicopter, and it's, oh my, the second half of season 5 was so bad. But basically, the camera episodes happen. We got Channel 4, we got Channel 5. They try to one-up Virginia in this, camera, documentary competition they've got going on. It's like, this is The Walking Dead. This is in the Walking Dead universe. I just still could not believe that. But, basically, at the end of the season, they're all taken captured. And, of course, she, she's like, I want to hear everything about the helicopter you mentioned. So, in season 6, I actually really like Althea. Finally, in season 6, I actually am starting to like Althea. I like her banter back and forth with Dwight. It's very brother-sistery, as I've mentioned in some of the videos recently. And I think the way they've handled her character with, season 6 in particular, I think is really good. And not letting, Isabel kind of land, just kind of for their own safety. And also, just for everybody, maybe even for herself too, just kind of saying yeah, we may be infected, you can kind of leave, that type of thing. So, yeah, I really do actually, I am starting to like Althea a lot more in season 6. I like the stuff with them, what they're doing with her in season 6. But season 4 and 5, I mean, the character made so many bad decisions, and I hate to say it, I think Althea is a character that may actually have more bad decisions than good decisions, as unfortunate as that is. But, guys, that is the Good and Bad series. We did the Madison Madison one and the Althea one in this video. Super long video, but I wanted to do it for you guys because, of course, this is the end of the good and bad videos. Of course, next week, we will be announcing what's going to be coming up next, so definitely looking forward to announcing that for you guys. And, of course, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys for watching all of the good and bad videos that I've done over this year, because I started it earlier on this year, and now at the end of the year, we're ending it here. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Write your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, click the subscribe button, subscribe to my Walking Dead videos. Follow Dave's Walking Reviews on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Anybody out there?